Hey everybody, welcome back to SaaS Founder Stories. My name is David Brennan. Today I have a very special guest, Matt Verlaque. So I met Matt a very long time ago. He's also the founder of Precision, and he's going to chat with us today a little bit about his company and, of course, how they're using AI. Welcome to the show, Matt.
What's up, David? Thanks for having me, man. Stoked to hang with you.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I'm excited to find out what you're doing. So, what is Precision?
Yeah, I help founders fix their data so they can make more money. That's it in a nutshell. It's my third company, and before I started this one, I spent 3 years as the chief operating officer at SaaS Academy with Dan Martell, coached hundreds of founders growing their companies. And what I figured out during my time there is that the problem behind every problem that a founder has is data, and the answer is yes, a combination of the quantitative data and also their intuition and gut feel. But running a business on gut feel is a bad strategy, man. Like eventually your luck runs out and you're left holding the bag. And so that's like the problem that I was put on this earth to solve. Is I love getting inside a business, tearing it down, figuring out the gears and inner workings of how it's supposed to go, and like the chain reaction of the numbers to show founders that there is actual formula, like a quantitative way that they can grow their company. So that's what we do. We're a mix of a software platform, consulting, training, and coaching. We do it all because we just want to deliver results. So that's us in a nutshell.
I love that, man. I think that's like so strong. One of the big things, well, first of all, you had the best place in the world to be able to actually see firsthand what was going on in so many companies. And I've been through both those programs and I love them. So actually, that's a good segue. Give us the origin story of like you and all your like getting into SaaS Academy and then coming to where you are now so people can understand what you've been through.
Yeah. So I did not do this on purpose. I was a fireman for a long time, more than a decade. And, I started my first SaaS company, which was called UpLaunch. I think I was running that around the time you and I first met. I started that company by accident. It was like with my shift partner, Jake, at the firehouse. He opened a CrossFit gym. I was actually wearing a t-shirt from his old gym right before this call, but I changed. He opened a CrossFit gym and he and I were just like hacking on some stuff. I was helping with marketing. This was like 2016. So like it was before marketing campaigns and all that was like a thing that everybody did back then. Most people weren't doing it. And I just helped him figure out how he could get members for his gym. Well, he and I were spending 60 or 70 hours a week in the firehouse, riding fire trucks. And that turned into the next thing, which was cool. I worked for his gym, go talk about it and teach other people how to do it. And none of the software out there really worked that well. And so I learned how to write code on my days off from the firehouse and found another guy in my coding boot camp who was like 105 times smarter than me, and he became our CTO. And he's actually back building Precision with me now, which is super fun. But we started that company, and it kept going. And eventually, I was working 110 hours a week between the firehouse and the company. And my wife finally looked at me and she was like, "Look, dude, I don't even care which job you do, but if you could just pick one of them, that would be awesome." And I quit the fire department, went full time, and that's how the snowball started tumbling down the mountain.
And then I think the other thing that plays in is I want to chat really quickly because you guys released a book, what,
Mhm.
6 months ago, 8 months
Yeah,
ago?
like in October. Yeah, about
Yeah.
6 months ago now. Wow, time flies.
Which was a great read, first of all. So you want to touch
Thank
really
you.
quickly on that? So, because I think it's really good for people to know that side of what you've been doing as well.
For sure. So, like after we sold UpLaunch in 2020, Dan Martell and I did a couple other things. Started a venture fund for a little bit, and then I partnered with him on SaaS Academy. And we had this interesting realization, probably a year or so into my time there, which was that we had a very systematized way of coaching and growing software companies, but outside of the frameworks inside of SaaS Academy, we never actually documented it or shared it anywhere other than like his YouTube channel a little bit. And so we just kind of felt like it was the right time. There was more and more people starting companies, especially, and I know we'll talk about AI in a little bit, but like with AI making it easier to code, like the obstacle is no longer starting a business. It's can you competently operate and grow a business, right? So the
Yeah.
goalpost is moving. And we just felt like it was the right time to write that book was 7 years ago, but the second best time to write it was when we started. And so, yeah, we basically we took like a year and a half almost to get the book squared away the way we wanted. And we just took all of our core frameworks, the growth ceiling concept that we used to kind of like underpin all of our growth strategies for SaaS companies. And we put it into book form. And it was like this crazy fun passion project, mildly infuriating at times. But yeah, I mean, we're super proud of the final product there.
That's awesome. I've listened to it 1.5 times, and if you're running a software company, you need to download it. We'll put a link on the video as well. Okay, so let's chat about precision and how you guys are actually using AI in the operation. I know it's early days for you, but yeah, how are you guys using it right now?
Yeah, there's a couple of things that come to mind, man. I think that the like maybe before specifics, kind of the principle that I look at is there's really two things. I think that sometimes, and I mean you and I are both what I would consider like AI enthusiasts, right? Like sometimes it gets you want to use it because it's fun to use, right? You want to use it because like, oh, I want to try this new thing. And that's cool, but like that does fall into the experimentation camp for me, which I don't really think is what we're here to talk about. So like for me, when I look at like the real business case of using AI, it's one of two things, right? I think it's either taking something that we're already doing and installing efficiency in the business, right? So we're doing the same thing, but getting it faster or getting it in a less expensive manner, less human interaction, right? That's number one. Or the second is to raise the bar, right? Meaning that you can do something at a level of quality or customization, which we'll talk about in a sec, that's like something you couldn't necessarily afford to do, or you're able to run a play that billion-dollar companies can run, but our little 3-month-old startup couldn't necessarily afford to do. So I think it's one of those two things where you're either making something easier on the front end or fighting outside your weight class on the back end. And so that's the principle that I use to figure out like where should I really invest time and energy into AI is it's one of those two outcomes. Does that make sense?
100%.
Cool.
Yeah,
So
I
I think
totally
like
agree.
good. Yeah. So like specifics, I mean, I think like operations teams, finance teams, there's a lot there. We're using an accounting platform actually called Digits, which is interesting. I'm a big fan of theirs, but they actually created like a competing software platform to Zero and QuickBooks and all the archaic shit that we all use.
Hmm.
And like they use a ton of AI for like transaction classification and all that kind of stuff. So we're really enjoying our experience with them so far. A lot of what we're using AI for is in like the sales process and sales enablement. So like we sell through demos. I'm a big fan of selling through one-on-one conversations. But like I'm in founder-led sales. Like I said, our company's 3 months old, right? I don't have a sales team. I don't have a sales director. I don't have sales assistants or SDRs. I got none of that stuff, man. And so like for us, even the workflow of like being able to do a recorded sales call on Zoom and use Grain to transcribe it and then pull out the action steps and the company summary and send that back to the CRMs. We have the CRM notes squared away. Like even stuff like that, like if you add up 30 minutes per sales call, like the more demand you get, dude, 3 years ago, that was a full-time job. And now it's the equivalent of a Zapier workflow, just like doing a sales assistant's job. Like that job's gone. So like
Yeah,
those are some
or you
interesting ones.
take Matt, the other one I think is really interesting for people that are like doing proposals is take your transcript, put it through a GPT or something like that, and you can write a proposal in 5 minutes with
Yeah.
the right formatting. That's really cool. Anything else that you're currently using it? Are you using it for things like uh build out your lead sources or to do research like that?
Yeah. So interestingly, we're about to ship this. We haven't shipped it yet. I imagine by the time this podcast goes live, we'll probably have it out. But one of the guys on my team, Alex, dude, you ever like have a team member and they just like they do their main job really well, and then they also are just like, hey, there's this thing I built on the side, and it's like freaking sick, and it's just so cool. He did this to me like 2 days ago, where he basically built a lead magnet as like a pull request in our code base, right? Where it basically asks a lot of the same questions that we ask when we're onboarding a client to like gather information about their business, but then he runs it through like a custom GPT that he built, so that way it can get like preliminary business recommendations about where their next growth hurdle is going to be in their company to kind of like precede the sales conversation. And so, when I talk about like, you're either making things more efficient or you're raising the bar, like let's just talk about raising the bar for a sec. Like I think that honestly, like we got away with some shit over the past 5 years with marketing where like we could do some like, here's your cute little PDF and everyone's like, it's a great PDF. And dude, like the problem is now there's 100 times more crappy PDFs out there. And all of a sudden, like the expectation of the market is 10 times greater. And now you want to have something customized where you can like, look, I expect to be able to click 7 buttons and tell you about my business and get some customized advice for me. Like show me that you can give me that and I'll give you my email address. And so I think that like the market's expectations are higher. And if we don't, elevate ourselves with it, we're getting left behind. So I love that even like, dude, the team is autonomously building stuff like this and putting it in front of me like, hey, let's go ship this because I think it's going to outperform your stupid PDF, Matt Verlaque. And I'm like, yes, it will. We're going to ship that bad boy on Friday. So, dude, it's super fun. I think that just we've got to keep getting better. Like we can't use AI to just do more of the stuff that worked yesterday. We got to do new things.
Well, it's such an opportunity to be super creative, right? Like, think about the form that you fill out, like the average form that you fill out. What should really happen is that form should give you from their email, should give them their domain. You should be able to, with some logic and a search, go out, pull that data off of anything, use your special sauce of what you do, and give them back something that's actually has value, right? That like they're like, oh wow, this is incredible. And I think like I love that that's the way you're able to create lead magnets. And I think it's only beginning, like we're only in the beginning of the creativity of what you're going to be able to offer to people as freebies. Like the day of the little framework or the thing like that is just like they're very useful, but now we have incredible tools to do way cooler things. So you're doing that. What are you doing? Are you doing anything? Is your development team using any AI in any ways?
You're not really allowed to be on my team if you're not using it. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Like, dude, we have a daily stand up like Slack bot in our company, right? And it's literally the questions it asks you is 4 questions. It's what did you ship yesterday? How did you use AI yesterday? What are you doing today? And are you blocked on anything? That's all I want to know. And look, we're not perfect. We don't always use it every single day. If I have a call where I'm on Zoom for 8 hours, I'm not going to be like, oh, I used Grain to transcribe my notes. Like we do that every day, right? So but the point is like when we do something cool, we capture it and document it. So to answer your question, yes. So there's two of us right now. My CTO from UpLaunch is back as our founding engineer here, and then myself. The two of us, we're writing code 100% of the time. We're in Cursor. We're using Claude. Like we're not really writing code without AI at this point, which is fun. And then on top of that, we're using something called OpenCommit, where it actually uses AI to write our commit messages for us. So instead of us manually writing the commit messages, because you know how it is, like if you're a software engineer and you're getting busy, you write some BS commit message, fix this thing, whatever. And so OpenCommit will actually like parse your stage changes and like write out a thorough commit message. And then we're also using GitHub Copilot to write our pull request descriptions, where it actually will reference specific lines of code to talk about like the major changes that we've made inside the pull request. Yeah, so
See,
we're heavy into it there.
I think that's one of the coolest things because I mean, you know this, you've gone back through code that somebody else has written, let's say 2, 3 years ago, and back from there, or pre these tools, and notes were horrendous. Like it just, and the fact that you can automate that whole part of the process where it's just like, I've always been a firm believer in if you don't like if it's something people don't want to do, find a way that they don't have to do it,
Yes.
right? Because
Which
then
is
you don't
different
have to worry
than
about it.
don't do it. It's
Yeah,
different than don't get the outcome. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
100%, dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
Are you using it in design?
A bit. Like we're not doing what a lot of the prototypical, like vibe coders are doing. We're using like the Lovable or the I don't remember the other ones, but we kind of went out of the gate with a pretty solid design system, based on Tailwind and everything like that. So use it a little bit for some wireframing, but dude, it's funny. Like a lot of the product work that we have going on is behind the scenes. We're very deep on integrations, very deep on AI inside the product, and so I would say that we're like 80-20 as far as like innovation goes. We're more than 80% on the back end code as far as like where our innovation lies. So I mean, that's where we put most of our effort right now.
And so for you guys going forward, first of all, a big question, when are you going to be launching? When are you going live?
Launch, we're out,
Yeah.
man. We got almost 30 clients live already. We
Nice.
are rocking and rolling, dude. It's really neat to see, honestly. Yeah, it's been fun.
Okay. Well, I always like to close out this with what's the one thing that you'd tell founders right now about AI that you think would help them the most in the next 12 to 18 months?
I know exactly what it is. I just got off a call with my customers to do like a bi-weekly coaching call, and we had the same exact conversation. Like, don't think that it's something you can outsource. If you are a founder, like, and I'm not, you don't have to be technical. You could have listened to this whole podcast and been like, I have no idea what a commit message is or a pull request, a blah, 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 foreign language. Cool. Doesn't matter. If you are a business person in any capacity, take 5 hours of your week, even less, 2 hours of your week, something, and just teach yourself AI. Go through a tutorial, start writing prompts, figure out. And like here's the part where people mess this up. They start and they're like, all right, I'm gonna go use Chat GPT. And they're like, write a couple prompts, and they're like, this is trash, AI's trash, it's not good enough yet, I'm out. Like, it's not perfect, and it should be easier, and in another year it will be. But right now, like, you can also get better at using AI to get better results. And like, that's the hill you have to crest as a founder, is like realizing that like you will make a shitty first draft. You'll use it and you'll be like, this is mediocre, this is stupid. And like, that is your chance where a lot of people retreat. That's your chance to start building your competitive advantage. So like, figure out how to make it better, figure out how to write better prompts, figure out how to chain them together, figure out how to use something, like a prompt orchestration thing to start building agents, like read some tutorials, do some stuff that feels more technically complex than you're normally the work you get into, and just like teach yourself how to do it. Like I was talking to one of my clients today, he's not a software developer, and he like set up a self-hosted instance of N8N so he could run his own workflows more cheaply. And I'm like, dude, I love it. How'd you do this? He's like, I followed a tutorial. Like, all the knowledge is out there. You can use AI to teach you how to use AI. It's insane. So
Yeah.
just just go do it and just force it. Because if there's one belief that even if you don't see it today, that I just want them to leave with, it's that you might not get replaced by AI, but you will get replaced by another founder who knows how to use it in a blink. And it's just like, it's so preventable. Like, you'll lose that edge. It's so preventable. Like, just go learn how it works, because it's freaking bananas once you get good at it. It's insane.
Yeah,
So that's
that
the
is so
message.
true. I totally agree. I think put an hour on your calendar every morning or wherever it is your time that your brain is best for like sucking in information, and just go on YouTube and put an hour into watching some tutorial that somebody's using. Start with like, what is a large language model, prompting, that type of stuff. And it's really crazy. In 6 months of doing that, you will gain so much knowledge. It's not even funny. And then set up your chat GPT and say, hey, I want a learning course. If I was starting from nothing and knowing nothing, what do I need to learn over the next 6 months? And just use that to guide your thing. It's such an incredible tool. Well, that's awesome, man. Thank you very much for coming on
Of
the
course, dude.
show.
Of
Can't wait to
course.
see you in May when you come down to Austin. And yeah, can't wait. I'm going to have to sign up and look what you're building.
I love it, man. It's right there. Precision.co. On all the socials, LinkedIn, I'm sure link it up, or Instagram. You can always just drop me a DM. It's always me, always reply. So yeah, hit me up and we'll go from there.
Okay, thanks, Matt.
Thanks, David. Appreciate you, man.